John and Casey wanted their family to know how much they appreciate all the years that you've done to raise them and love them. And John, I know your mother very, very special in your life. There's nothing like, a mother's love. And one of the things that John loves about his mom is very similar. You've always been there for John. And I know that in the same way you love John's heart for people and always thinking about somebody else other than himself first. And that's something I know that you guys are going to continue on in your marriage. I thought it'd be kind of nice if we just did like a little brief Reader's Digest introduction of how these two met. Some of you may have traveled many miles away, and they thank you so much for being here, but it's kind of nice to just find out what's the story and how this happened. So they actually met online, which is a really cool thing, and it was really interesting. Their very first date, there was this incredible connection that they had. They felt like, this is something very special. There's something really special here. And in fact, John wasted no time. He asked Casey to work for him as his employee. So that way they could be together all day. And what they said to me, and as we were discussing this very special day that we're spending together, is that they became fast friends and best friends. And that's one of the incredible things about their relationship. Casey just knew that he's the one. It was very, very clear. In fact, what Casey said to me is, John makes me better. And John said the very similar thing. He said, Casey's my best friend, and I just love her. I asked, what did you guys love the most about each other? John loves Casey's personality, the fact that she's loving, caring, she puts me first, she fills my gaps, is what he said. And one of the things that he loves physically about her is her hair. Pastor Mike, I just absolutely love her hair. She doesn't even know this, but sometimes I'll just come up behind her, we're at a party or something, I just smell her hair. It's so beautiful, I love it. And I asked Casey the very same thing. What do you love about John? You know what I love about him, Mike? His perseverance. He never gives up. I love the fact that he has goals. He sets a driven heart on something and he just goes after it, and I love that. I love John's open heart. She said that John just has a heart for people, and I love that. He's always thinking of others. And I asked Casey the same thing. What do you love the most physically about John? And she said, I love his eyes. When I first met him, he just mesmerized me. His eyes are so mesmerizing. In fact, John, standing here, your eyes just mesmerize me, man. It's amazing.
They're red. I'm crying all day.
And that's okay. That's all right. One of the things about this day, you're going to get married, and it's the biggest day of your life. And so you're going to remember it for the rest of your days. But what makes a really good marriage is love, commitment, and then serving one another. I think one of the greatest things about when God designed marriage, he designed it so that he himself could be in the center of it. And we know God's love in our hearts allows us to love one another. So I was just kind of thinking, John, about how maybe you guys are at work, you're at different places for whatever reason on a day, and you're getting ready to come home, and I think it's just kind of natural for us guys. When we come home, we would like our wives to serve us, right? It would be cool just to kind of kick up your feet. ESPN is playing, the lemonade's there for you, she's rubbing your feet. I mean, it's just an amazing moment, right? But we know that's not reality. Some days there are. But here's what makes a really good marriage incredible. Is that when a husband sees his wife as God saw us, that he loves and cares for her and he serves her. So the wonderful picture that I get about a husband is he's actually the lead servant in the home. When the Lord was on the earth, he served his disciples. He washed their feet. It was an incredible moment of service to them. And that's really the picture that you have. So if we could just kind of rewind the tape now, you guys coming home from work, and John is stepping across the threshold of the front door, right? And he's thinking, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to see Casey. How can I serve her when I get home? So when you step across that threshold, you're like, you know what, Casey, why don't I make dinner for you? You just kind of relax, and we'll take care of things here. And you just want to make it that special moment for her. And so what that's going to do is that's just going to cause Casey to fall that much more in love with you. And I think that's the secret of marriage, is that we serve, we love, and we commit. I know that you folks are always doing that, and I want to continue, especially for Corin. He's going to see an incredible model for what marriage is. So with that, I'd like to read just a verse. We talked about a verse from the Bible that talks about what real love is. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous. Love does not brag, does not act arrogant, does not act unbecomingly, it does not seek its own, it's not provoked, does not take into account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails. So it's with the reading of God's word that we get a really good picture of true love is surrender to one another. So it's with that, I know that John and Casey, you have some things that you like to share with one another on this special day. So John, I'm just going to begin with you. If you would like to share with Casey your heart with her.
Okay. So I forgot my vows at home. So I had a neighbor screenshot them for me. Here goes the waterworks.
Which is why he's going first.
Does
You need Silo to come up here?
Where's my replacements? Casey, you are my very best friend, my anchor, my soulmate. You are my everything. I promise to look after you, our son, and provide you the best possible life that I can for you. You and Corin are my life. You know that. I promise to be supportive and to always make our family's love and happiness my priority. I vow to try to have the patience that love demands, to speak when words are needed, and to share in the silence when they are not. I will be yours in plenty, in sickness and in health, in failure and in triumph. I will dream with you, celebrate with you, and walk beside you through whatever our lives may bring. With my whole heart, I take you as my wife, acknowledging and accepting your faults and your strengths as you do mine. I'm almost done. These past 8 years together with you, you have shown me love that is pure, undying, and unconditional. These past 8 years, we have built the foundation of a loving relationship that I know will stand the test of time. There is no question in my mind that I will spend the rest of my life doing my best to make you happy and to give you and our son the best life that I can. I love you and I cherish you with all my heart.
Where do I start? There was a quote I saw the other day that said, "The best love story is when you fall in love with the most unexpected person at the most unexpected time." That could not be truer for us. When we met, I wasn't looking for love. I was in a dark place and I didn't believe love was meant for me. But then I met you in the most unexpected way. You became my friend and you accepted me for who I was, good and bad. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I could be myself with someone other than my sister. Then our friendship grew, and I found my best friend in you. You were always there when I needed you. You helped me to grow as a person and face whatever problems came my way. It was then that I started to realize that even though you were the opposite of me, complete opposite, you were perfect for me. In our case, opposites really do attract, and it's what works for us. Sometimes I think that's what makes us such a good match. Even though you didn't feel the same way at first, I knew you would see it one day, and you did.
Took me a while.
I couldn't imagine going through life's up and downs with anyone else but you. We not only complement each other, but we also bring out the best in each other. Where I am weak, you are strong and give me strength. Where you falter, I stand by you and I help you. You are not only going to be my husband now and forever, but you will also be my best friend, my better half, my soulmate. I may not have been looking for anyone, and you may have not been the person I thought I would be looking for, but God knew that you were exactly the man I needed, and he knew exactly when I needed you.
You guys did great. So now we're going to exchange just the traditional vows. So John, I'm going to begin with you, and I'm just going to ask you to repeat these words after me. And I just want to encourage you, John, take in this moment, man. This is the greatest moment of your life. So I, John,
take you, Casey,
to be my wife,
to
have and to hold,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better and for worse,
sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish. I give you my promise. And Casey, I'd like you also to repeat these words from your heart to John. I, Casey, take you, John, to be my husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish. I give you my promise. So I know that John and Casey are going to have these vows further sealed by the giving and receiving of rings. So John, I'm going to ask you to take Casey's ring first. One of the things that I noticed about the differences between the two rings, that one has a really big diamond on it. It's beautiful. And I'm sure there was a lot of care, a lot of work, and a lot of thought that went into it. What's going to be the perfect ring for my wife to be? And so when you wear the wedding ring, Casey, I just want to encourage you that you're not just married, but you're married to John. John is your treasure from God. Treasure him with all your heart. So John, I'm going to ask you just to place the ring at the tip of Casey's ring finger and just repeat these words after me. With this ring, I seal my promise to be your faithful and loving husband, as God is my witness. And then Casey, I'd like you to take John's ring. One of the distinctive things about John's ring is it's really heavy. And so I was thinking about, there was a wedding a few years ago that I was sitting there, and this little boy walked in with his grandpa, and he was sitting there, and he happened to notice his grandfather's wedding ring, and he said, "Grandpa, that wedding ring, it's so heavy." And this is what he said. He said, "Because, son, in my day it was meant to last a lifetime." And I like that. So John, when you wear the wedding ring, the significance of that is that just like God's love for us, there's no beginning and no end. He just loves us. Just like Casey's love for you. She's going to love you through the great days and some of the more challenging days. And so maybe you're at work or you're driving the car or something, you happen to kind of brush your wedding ring against something, and it reminds you that, you know, you're not just married, but you're married to Casey and all the wonderful things about her. So I'm going to ask you to place the ring at the tip of John's ring finger and also repeat these words, Casey. With this ring, I seal my promise to be your faithful and loving wife, as God is my witness. Well, by the state of California, I have the privilege to be able to pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. So John and Casey, I'd like you to turn towards your guests. It's my privilege today to introduce to you for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. John and Casey. So once again, John and Casey wanted me, again, just to express thank you so much for being here on our special day.